me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, buenas tardes, boa tarde, welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Andrea Figueiredo Dexheimer. I'm assistant professor at the Center for STEM Research, Education, and Outreach here at SIUE, and thank you so much for joining us today as we celebrate the accomplishments of our phenomenal graduates. Before we start our program, let us invite our phenomenal graduates to join us. If you're able and you would like, I invite you to stand and support the students as they enter the space. Graduates, please come and celebrate with us. That was beautiful. Thank you, everyone. You may all be seated. As we get started, I'm aware that many units, groups, offices, and departments have helped the graduation celebrations become what they are today. And it's important to acknowledge that the effort and support. So I want to say a special thank you to the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Anti-Racism, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, the Hispanic Faculty and Staff Association, and the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs for their initial and continued supports to this event. I also want to say thank you to the staff of the Team of Belonging Engagement Hub who worked behind the scenes to help plan and implement the event today. Thank you. Should give them a round of applause here. At this time, I want to direct your attention to our digital program booklet. So if you're here in person, the first few pages of the program booklet are what you have in your hands. This program. So if you don't have it, we have more in the front desk. You can get one. There is a QR code in the back of the program. If you scan the QR code, you'll be able to access the full program booklet, which includes the graduates' pictures, biographical information, and messages to those who have been pivotal to their journey in graduation. If you're not here in person, if you're watching online or watching the live stream, I want to ask the graduates to direct your supporters to the booklet listed on the Team of Belonging Engagement Hub's website under Affinity Celebrations, so they can see the event at any time on the channel and also see the other information. While you're looking through the booklet, I want to take a quick moment to recognize members of our student leadership here on campus, some of which are in attendance today. We are grateful to have their continued support at the Team of Belonging and Engagement Hub's programs, and especially during this week while we celebrate our graduates. First, I want to say thank you to our SIUE Chancellor, Dr. James T. Minor. Thank you to the Vice Chancellors, the members of the Chancellor's Extended Council, and the Deans of the schools and colleges, some of which are here present today. And I also want to say thank you to the members of our SIU system leadership who are also sending their regards. Thank you. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our 13th Hispanic Latinx graduation ceremony, which we celebrate semi-annually. I also want to add a few notes about today's celebration. We had people ask us about this event and others, asking why we say Latinx included in the graduation versus other words like Latino, Latina, Chicano, Chicana, Hispanic, or multicultural. We include Latinx because it has been considered a gender-inclusive alternative to Latino and Latina. It's used by scholars, activists, and increasing number of college campuses. Latinx or Latine, in some cases, gain common use among the general public. It aims to move beyond gender binaries and is intended to be inclusive of the intersecting identities of those with Latin American ancestry. In addition to men and women from all racial backgrounds, Latinx also makes room for people who are trans, queer, non-binary, gender non-conforming, or gender fluid. This is not to say that there aren't people who identify as Hispanic, Latino, Latina, and Latina, or even more with their country of origin. But at events like this, it can sometimes be challenging to find a way to identify in a way that is pleasing to many. Additionally, the term is often contested. While this term is often contested, it's also a term coined by a member of the Latino, Latina, Latinx community, which is different than the word Hispanic, which is a term sometimes considered to be given to people of Latin American descendants by those who colonized their homelands. What can also complicate this is that Hispanic can also be used by those who are not of Latin American ancestry, but also Spanish speakers. This is further complicated by the fact that some who identify as Hispanic embrace the term and opt to give it a new meaning outside of the meaning of colonization. So while a term chosen by a person to identify themselves should be used to identify them, here in this moment, we use both Hispanic and Latinx because of the aim to move into awareness of intersectional identities and the many layers of one's identity that affects a person's day-to-day experience. To be as inclusive as possible, we have opted for Hispanic and Latinx, hoping we can at least acknowledge this conversation in the world and honor those who might identify in different ways. So we want to acknowledge that how you may identify may be geographical, maybe language, or even nationality-based, among other reasons. We know that is deeply personal, and we see you. We want you to know that we have considered as many identities, and we strive for the level of awareness and critical thinking. This is how we came to name this graduation celebration, and who knows, give more conversation. It may change in the years to come. In addition to information about the name, I want to take a moment to provide a little history about commencement ceremonies such as this one. The first known ceremony like this took place in 1969 at San Jose State University. The previous year's university commencement had a protest by the Hispanic community to bring attention to the underrepresentation of Hispanic students and others in all of higher education, and the apparent lack of concern for the educational needs by colleges, universities, and the government. The following year, after the protest, 1969, about 25 graduating students at San Jose State University announced that they would hold a separate ceremony, which they labeled Chicano Commencement, to bring attention to what they saw as continued lack of commitment by universities to meet the educational needs of the growing Chicano communities. In the years to follow, students at many colleges and universities across the country began to hold similar types of events. And in May of 2018, we added SIUE to the list. We are so pleased in this moment to host a special graduation event like this one, for our students to be recognized and to celebrate the achievements of not only the students, but their families, friends, mentors who supported them in this journey. So without further ado, let's begin by bringing up our keynote speaker, our very own Jacob Del Rio. Jacob is an assistant professor at Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. He worked in public libraries for more than 20 years before joining the faculty as an electronic resources librarian. He earned his Bachelor's of Arts in English with a minor in creative writing at SIUE, and he's delighted to return to his alma mater. He resides in Edwardsville with his wife and two children. Jacob is honored to be your speakers for today's ceremony. Please join me in welcoming Jacob Del Rio to the stage.
Got some props here. Hello, class of 2024, congratulations. First off, thank you all for allowing me to speak with you today. Thank you to the Hispanic Latinx Faculty Staff Association and especially the Executive Board for inviting me. And specifically to Dr. Ruby for recommending me for the opportunity. I told Dr. Ruby that I was reluctant to speak in front of you today, partly because I struggled with identity for so long, receiving the benefits of presenting as a white male, and I didn't want to shield any marginalized or unheard voices. But I know I'm not alone in my struggle with this. My father grew up in Missouri as Hispanic and spoke no Spanish, being raised by a mother from Arkansas. He learned stories from extended Del Rio family after the death of his father, piecemeal. He shared some stories with me growing up, but sometimes I wasn't ready to listen. Well, when I was the new kid to a school in Glen Carbon, Illinois, we drove with the Oldsmobile windows down, and Texas Tornadoes was blasting on the radio. And at that time, he was trying to share an experience with me, and at that time, I wasn't too ready to listen. I was too preoccupied with fitting in with my new school in this moment. But listening to Texas Tornadoes, watching the VHS tape of La Bamba on repeat for the entire summers felt like a piece of home for my father. And I'm grateful that he took these other attempts to try to share these moments with me and to share his family stories with me as well. I graduated from Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville in 2005. Whenever someone asks me about my undergraduate 4-year degree, I said it's a 5-year degree, thank you very much. I immediately correct them about this. I wanted to go into pharmacy school because I figured that's where the money is at, and it seems like a stable enough job. That's also the program that my sister, my brother-in-law went into. But when you find yourself sitting in Dr. Eric Voss's office begging for a C- in organic chemistry, you start to reevaluate your choices in your life trajectory. I thought back to some of the other classes I took here, excuse me. Sorry. Some of the other classes that I took here, does anyone know Dr. Eugene B. Redmond? Does that name mean anything to you? There's a whole learning center on the second floor of Bloodwood Library named after him. He was a big deal. He was a civil rights poet. His classes that he created in the Peck Hall were an escape for me and as a place to find my self-realization. He called his classrooms the solar system, soul as in SOUL. And being in those classrooms was a space that felt like home. It was a space that I felt welcome. It was a space that defines a lot of my SIUE experience. And I think when I remember the stories that I learned in Dr. Eugene Redmond's class, stories of Henry Dumas, W.E.B. Du Bois, they opened my mind, they opened my world, and this whole system felt like a place I belonged. So I became an English major. I abandoned the pharmacy, pre-pharmacy program. And having worked as a library clerk from the age of 19, I went on to library school after that. Working in libraries for 23 years, I've been surrounded by stories. In public libraries, we of course had children's story times and all the books and media you could want. There was Halloween programs where professional storytellers scare the audience with ghost stories. We had an oral history project, Edwardsville Speaks, where we interviewed longtime Edwardsville residents about their life in this town. Many came from Fordham University, some from the very beginning. All took pride in having this university right here in Metro East. Most of these interviewees are no longer with us, but their oral histories are still online. Their stories live on because someone listened and we can share it with someone else. So, I have like one prop. And I hope you guys have seen this thing. I don't know if any of you actually interacted with it. As you're watching remotely, you can find on SIUE's website, it's called 52 Things, or 57, oh my goodness. It's very specifically 57. What year was SIUE founded? Okay, 57 things to do at SIUE. So what have you marked off on your list? Did you walk in the gardens or grab some food at a late night final breakfast? There's still time to do number 54, which is visit the Lovejoy Library Maker Lab. So check that off in the next couple weeks if you're still here. It's perfectly okay if you have little to no boxes checked on this sheet. Our stories contain many common threads, but your story is uniquely yours and it is yours to tell. So whether you checked every box or didn't check any at all, think of all the experience that you have to make up your SIUE experience. For my list, I visited the solar system. I sat in writing workshops with Jeff Schmidt and Mel Bogren. These were the formative experiences of my SIUE undergraduate years, and they wouldn't be on here. But so you can write it your own on the back, and your story will go on. Here's something that I would add if I like turn it over and write some of my postgraduate SIUE experiences after finishing my degree here. For like 58. I'll add that. 8 years after graduating, speak at a symposium at Lovejoy Library about the oral history project, and there meet your future wife and mother of your children. So I would check that off. Put your kids into SIUE's Early Childhood Center. That's number 59. Check that off. Number 60. Take a leap of faith and start a second career in academia at your alma mater. So I'm a public librarian. I have no idea what being an academic is like, and I'm jumping headfirst into it. So if I seem like I have no idea what I'm doing, it's because I have no idea what I'm doing. So now I have my entire little family, and we put them all into one minivan. We all drive to campus. My wife works here too. So I live in a castle. It might not look like happily ever after, but I think this is what happily ever after feels like. So I don't know how to tell you how to do that, because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm supposed to bestow some wisdom of life lessons for you all as part of my speech. The truth is, I have so much to learn from all of you. Class of 2024. You have shown so much resilience, resourcefulness, and flexibility during your recent education. You have adapted to remote learning, to hybrid learning, to a new normal. You saw this through while many others did not. And I have a feeling that you did not do this entirely on your own. Parents, families, loved ones, I know you are so proud of your graduates' accomplishments, but I hope you take pride in the support that you've shown to make all this effort bear fruit. When I was working on my bachelor's degree, the biggest obstacle directly affecting my studies was the release of World of Warcraft in 2020 or 2004. But all you have achieved in the face of such adversity is so inspiring that I don't think my usual chicken soup for the soul quotes will work here. So I'll just give you some tips that worked for me as I stumbled into my 40s. Sorry. I will tell you, adulting can be hard. Some of you already know that, you figured out the hard way. When I was 18, when I was 22, when I was 35, I would see my parents or other adults their age and think they have it all figured out. I thought one day I would know most of what I would ever need to know, and I wouldn't feel lost or confused. But the secret is, being one of those grown-ups now, we're all lost and confused, some more often than others. Part of adulting is just showing up, asking questions, reminding yourself that you are not a uniquely inept adult. Everyone's stumbling through this. If you have anxiety or self-doubt, it's because you care about what you're doing. And because you care about what you're doing, you're gonna do a great job, whatever it is you're doing. Sometimes all that just isn't enough. Though, as I've said, you've all proven to be extremely resilient in all that you've accomplished. Maybe one day you'll need to find extra fuel for your fire. I've got 2 young kids, and sometimes parenting, working full-time, keeping home feels so daunting. And I had to turn to a person I call Will. Will is kind of a role model for me, and he has no idea that he is. He doesn't strike me as someone who's overly capable or responsible, and I wouldn't guess that he could do the things like take care of a home, raise happy, healthy children while working full-time. But he does. And sometimes, when being a grown-up feels too daunting, I tell myself, if Will can do this, I can do this. And maybe you're not as cynical as I am, but if you are, let me volunteer myself. So if you're out in the world and adulting and just face the world feels insurmountable, tell yourself, if Jacob Del Rio can do this, I can do this. Or a better approach would be find a mentor, someone that knows that you use them as a role model. And I know some of you found faculty members here, foster those connections, stay in touch. And I didn't have this in my script, but if you're going to use them as a reference, let me know ahead of time, because it's never a good phone call when the reference receives a phone call about you and they say, oh, he's applying for what now? Give them a heads up when you're going to use their name. So that phone's going to ring and will be a surprise for them. You may find yourself working for someone who has a poor memory or easily mixes up details from conversation. You have lengthy meetings establishing goals and plans for the upcoming weeks. You find yourself repeating all parts of that meeting the next day. No one took minutes and there's no follow-up email. Not every work environment has a secretary take minutes. It's up to you to SIUE or cover your butt. This could be as simple as a follow-up email to recount a conversation. My advice to you is when you enter the professional world is to get everything in writing and establish a paper trail. This is just one of my life tips that I'm just trying to give you as I stumble through. Advocate for yourself. In future jobs, you will likely advocate for higher pay, better conditions. If you have a boss that will notify everyone about low raises or no raises by mass email, request a meeting. Have them tell you to your face why you cannot get a raise. They might tell you that the only way to get a raise is by counteroffering another job. So keep that resume or CV up to date. If you want to use LinkedIn, keep your connections growing. Find professional organizations and conferences to socialize and network. Even if you'd love to stay where you are, sometimes you need to find a job offer and dictate what you're worth. Also, if you're looking for jobs, try to apply and interview for jobs that you're not entirely interested in. You don't want to shake off the interview rust and your dream opportunity. I hope that you find a job where you're always happy with your pay. I hope you find a job where you can be honest and candid, and your bosses or colleagues can communicate honestly and clearly as well. Anytime that I made a mistake or dropped the ball in a work setting, honesty and candor serve me so much better than being guarded or finding excuses. A work atmosphere that does not have grace for that is not a place I want to be. I hope you can find a way to establish and communicate boundaries professionally and personally. So I talked a lot about jobs and finding careers. For many, that's the main motivation. But education should be about developing critical thinking citizens who will contribute to a democratic society. Our society is better with you in it, and it's better still as you learn new ways of thinking and problem solving. So all that being said, here's 4 full-time jobs available at Lovejoy Library right now. I'm not joking, but act quickly because the deadline is Wednesday night, April 24th at midnight. There are civil service, no master library training required. That's not a joke. But forgive me for that shameless plug. Lastly, I hope you found SIUE to be a place that you belong. I hope that you found some part of this campus, even if you're a single classroom like the solar system, to be something like home. You're always welcome back. I came back. But graduates, Cougars, congratulations on everything you've accomplished, and thank you to all your parents, families, and mentors who helped you along the way.
Thank you so much, Jacob, for your thoughts today. Now we have reached the most exciting moment of our event today, the moment to get to recognize every graduate individually. And in a moment, we will ask our graduates to stand and proceed to the side of the stage. And graduates, you're going to receive a stall, and you'll be able to pick up your certificate at the end of the ceremony on the same table where you checked in. As you cross the stage, we have a campus photographer who will be taking pictures, so feel free to pose as you like. You can be silly, you can be serious, it's your moment. There's also a camera at the end of the room. Could someone point? Yes, there's a camera over here, not the end, the side of the room. So feel free to wave or just communicate with people who might be watching online. Guests, as we read, for the graduates too. After you take a photo and you wave at the camera, we're going to ask you to proceed to your seats and wait for the other graduates to be seated. Guests, as we read the names of the graduates and they cross the stage, we also be sharing a PowerPoint with each graduate's name. Those of you are more than welcome to cheer if you want to. You can be loud if you want to. You can come closer to the stage and take your own photos if you wish to. So this is also your moment as guests. After we read and share the name of all the graduates, we'll ask everyone to make a final round of cheers, claps, and celebratory sounds. And then after we wrap that up, we're going to continue our ceremony. So graduates, that was a lot. As your name is called, please know that we see you, we honor you, and we celebrate you. As we mentioned, you'll be receiving your stole when you cross the stage. They're right here, they're beautiful. We hope you wear this probably during commencement ceremonies later in the week. Later next week. Now we're going to start recognizing our students. So I'm going to ask the graduates to stand and proceed to the podium at the side of the stage. Graduates, please stand. Yes, I invite Heidi to greet us.
Hello everyone, buenas tardes. Y para felicitar a los graduados, los que hablan español, ¿quién habla español? Bastante, qué bien, felicidades a sus hijos, esposos, lo que sea que están aquí. So I'm going to proceed. My name is Heidi Cuervo. I'm a professor of Spanish and foreign language pedagogy at SIUE. If anybody is interested in becoming a Spanish teacher, talk to me after the ceremony, okay? So let's congratulate the graduate. Dalia Avila, Bachelor of Science, major in elementary education. Brianna Adel Avitia, Bachelor of Science, major in nursing. Maria Michelle Cartagena, Bachelor of Science, concentration in marketing and minor in Spanish. Maria Lucia Cuyen, Bachelor of Science, elementary education. Jennifer de Avila, Bachelor of Science in early childhood education. Claudia Alejandra Fierro Rubio, Bachelor of Science, History Pre-Law. Juana Gomez Perez, Bachelor of Science, Business Administration, Supply Chain Management. Tania Juarez, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and concentration in Marketing. Armando Lopez, Bachelor of Science, Business Administration with concentration in Management. Ricardo Lopez, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with concentration in Finance. Christopher Grand Magdaleno, Bachelor of Science in Public Health. Adriana Maldonado, Bachelor of Arts in Applied Communication Studies with a minor in Mass Communication. Daniel Martin, Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering. Stephanie Montenegro, Bachelor of Social Work with major in Social Work. Jessica Pacheco, Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. Karina Guadalupe Pulido, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Norizel Carmen Quesada, Bachelor of Arts in Foreign Language and Literature, concentration in Spanish. Claudia Vera, Bachelor of Science in Psychology with a minor in Health, Society, and Human Condition. Now we're gonna honor the master's degree, los estudiantes de maestría. Felina Herrera Martin, Masters of Science in Education with a major in Diversity and Equity in Education. Ana Marcela Tovar Chavez, Masters of Arts, major in Art Therapy Counseling. Olivia Perez, Masters of Arts in History with a postbac in Museum Studies. Congratulations to all our graduates. Felicidades a todos los graduados. That was very cool, wasn't it? Yeah.
Thank you all for your participation, and again, congratulations to all of our graduates today. You may be seated. Graduates, as you go into the world and make your mark, remember that you are a proud SIUE Cougar, and that you leave a legacy here on this campus and at the hearts of those who encountered you while a student here. As we mentioned earlier, graduates were able to leave messages of thanks to faculty, staff, mentors, friends, and family who have been instrumental in their success at SIUE. We know that it often takes the love and care of all of those around each student to encourage them to complete the degree and make it to graduation. The messages that you, graduates, share to those who are members of your care team are included in the program booklet mentioned earlier in the program. So if you go on the QR code, you can see more information on that. We also want to honor those here today who have supported our students. So please join me in a celebratory moment thanking the individuals for the support and indirect contributions to our student success. I want to say thank you one more time to all of you who have joined us here today at the Hispanic Latinx graduation ceremony. Thank you once more to our senior leadership for attending, our speakers for offering insights and inspiration for our students, and most of all, thank you, graduates, for participating today and dedicating yourself to your education so you can be here at the finish line. Most importantly, thank you to all that you have done here at this institution and the impact you've made during your time at SIUE. We are very eager for the bright future ahead for each one of you. A quick announcement as you leave. Graduates, please remember to stop at the certificate table to pick up your certificate on the way out, and the same table where you checked in. And if you can stick around for just a minute, we can do a group photo together with our photographer. For all of our other attendees, you're welcome to get the pictures you would like at the background here that we have on stage after we conclude with the group photo. And we also have refreshments just next door. With that, final congratulations to you and on to your success, graduates. Go into the world, be yourself, and be great. Thanks everyone for coming.